Hey there, welcome back. This is Atul from team K21 Academy, and in this fourth part of installing Kubernetes on AWS, or better to say managed Kubernetes on AWS, that is EKS Elastic Kubernetes Service. And in this fourth part, we are going to look at how to create a worker node, or also called as data plane, using the console. So data plane or worker node are the one where you deploy your applications. That's where applications will run. So far we created the master node and or control plane, and we also configured client machine which has kubectl and EKSCTL for command line utilities to manage my cluster. So next we are going to create this worker node or data plane. So I'm going to go to the console, and within console under compute I will have options. So let me go onto the screen, so and go to the EKS that I created. So EKS, and click on this EKS here. This is the cluster that I created in second part control plane. Now if you go under compute, now this is where you have to create nodes. Nodes are, as I said earlier, I just explained to you just now, but you have two options. Either you can create a EC2 virtual machine based nodes, or you can create a Fargate profile or Fargate. Fargate is, we probably might cover in upcoming future videos, but Fargate is serverless for Kubernetes. So you don't have to worry or manage about the EC2 machines, or as and when you need the pods on which your application runs, the pod will automatically create the underlying compute. So you don't manage, or you don't get charged. The Fargate is a little bit more pricing per hour point of view, it's more expensive, but then you only pay for what you use. Whereas here, if you create the nodes, the virtual machines will be created, and if you don't shut those down, you'll be paying for those machines. Now before you add a node, you need to create a node group. Node group is nothing but collection of nodes, as name suggests. So you can have my production environment nodes, or you can have in say one application type workload, one node group. Second application type workload, I create a second node group. But for now, for demo purpose, we're creating a one node group. And let's look at the documentation as well here parallelly. So what I'm doing is I'll create a node group and say group 1. The name is group 1 or whatever, group 01. Now I need to select a role. Now I don't have any roles so far. Earlier in part 1 or second part, I created a role, but that was for cluster management, EKS cluster. Now I need a role for node group management. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a role. So I'll go back and search for identity and access management. So maybe I'll open another console window, leave this one for now. And we covered in part 2 about how to create the roles, but that time those roles were for EKS cluster. So I'll go IAM, then I'll go to roles, and we'll look at what roles we need. So we will select EC2 service and search for EKS, and then we'll need these roles here. So I'll say create roles, search for AWS services, and from here I'll select EC2 and then click next. EC2 common use case, click on next, and this is where I'll search for policy. So I'll search, just type EKS, and it will basically filter me what all EKS related roles or permissions are. So in that I need EKS worker node policy. So Amazon EKS worker node policy, and then I also need EKS CNI policy, which is my VCN networking plugins. Another one is I need EC2 container registry. So container registry is where my images are stored. So later when we do other videos where we'll deploy the applications, the application images, or we call container images, will be stored in container registry. So I should be able to read, or these nodes should be able to read the container registry. Basically, that's what this policy is about. So I'll probably search for another one, which is EC2. Remove this EKS and then search for EC2 container registry. So I'll search for EC2 container read only registry. So these three permissions, and click on next. I'll give this name. So okay, so I think I'm not able to select, or I've not selected that. So if I go back, I think I forgot to select it. Let's go back. Yeah, I should have selected here. I missed that selection here, and then click on next. Scroll down, make sure that you have these three policies: EC2 container registry read only, CNI policy and worker node policy, and I'll give that name of this role, whatever of your choice. So name is, I think we are giving EKS node instance, EKS node instance role. You can decide any name here and click on create the role. And once this role is created, I go back to the screen where I was creating this node group, refresh this, and now I should be able to see this role not there. Yeah, EKS node instance role that came here. Now launch template, basically because I'm creating EC2 machines, these EC2 machines can be built using a template. EC2s have a template. Again, if you're coming from EC2 background or AWS virtual machines, you know that you can create an instance using a template. So we don't want to use that. We will define the settings ourselves. Again, there's a concept of labels in Kubernetes. When we move forward in future videos, we'll talk about labels and why and where do you use labels. So for now, I'll leave it blank. We can add those labels later, and these will be helpful later in. There's also a concept of affinity, node affinity and tenting. Right now we are not adding any tenting. You can add a tenting to the nodes. And then you can also add tags, probably tags, key value pair. Click on next. Now this is where I'm saying what kind of a shape are these virtual machines on which my worker node will be built. So it's basically using which kind of operating system, in this case Amazon Linux. Capacity type on demand. Again, these are virtual machine specific configurations. Instance type, I'm selecting T3 medium. Because it's for demo purpose, I'm going to select the cheapest one. So let's see if there is any cheapest one. This is the cheapest one. If I say micro, or leave it for now, as I said, we can do the T2 micro, but I'm going to leave it to default one, T3 medium. Just wanted to show it here. Now disk size, what is the disk space? 20 GB. I'm giving default. Now this is where scaling configuration, my current one, desired 2, minimum 2, maximum 2, which means that it will begin with the desired, minimum is these many, and it will probably go up to this. So we'll leave it. You can change whatever number you want, but for now we'll keep it all 2 here. And next is about the node update configuration. So how much unavailability you can afford. So I can say that at least minimum is 1 should be like max unavailable is 1, or you can set it based on percentage. This is basically for auto scaling feature, node as auto scaling. We'll cover these things in future as well in depth later. So leave it for now to click on next. This is where these node groups network related. So these machines will be created under which network, which subnet. So these machines that they will need IP, those IPs will be assigned from this particular subnet. And can you connect to SSH? Whether we allowed or not, you can configure. So I don't want to do the SSH configuration. Only my master node will be able to talk to these. Click on next. And this is where it's giving me all the settings. That this is my node group name. This is my Kubernetes taint, basically all those configurations that we have given, and click on create. And this will then now go and create behind the scene the virtual machines or EC2. Now, while this is creating, I want to see whether it's actually creating or not. So I can test it by running from my command line that I configured earlier. So I'm verifying and say get nodes. Get nodes is a command on Kubernetes nodes, and then -- watch is basically I'll see if they are growing or what's happening. So I'll open the EC2 where I've installed the client machine. I think in previous part I installed the client machine. In that, using that, I'm going onto that EC2 machine and running this command, which is Kubernetes get nodes. It's taking a little bit time. So in the meantime, I'll go and show it to you from the console. How does it look like on the console, what it's doing behind the scene. So I'll go to EC2 and click on these EC2. And if you click on instances, and so this is the 2 client machines I added earlier. This was initially was there. This is the one which I created in previous part. And if you see now, because I've created 2 machines, I've set 2 machines, it's basically initializing or configuring these 2 machines here. If you look at node watch, it's showing me output what's happening. So one is 212 and second is 104. These 2 machines, it's saying not ready, not ready. So this is now ready, and this is also ready now. The version is 1.24, and role right now is not showing anything, but it took 31 seconds for this compute to come up. It's still creating, or if you go back to this, still initializing. If I refresh that, once it's initialized properly, then it will say ready here. On here it will say ready for me. So that's one thing, it creates these EC2. Other thing also does is it creates VPCs. So let's see load balancers. Does it create any load balancer? So we saw that service earlier, SVC, get service. So it has not created it has not yet created load balancer. A later part will do application or ingress controllers. That time we will see it creating the load balancers. Now if I go further down here, networking, I want to see the VPC basically, whether, because we saw that it created a VPC in subnets. So I go to VPC and click on your VPCs. So it has that VPC created for you, or it's using the VPC that was all there as a part of this lab. So I want to go back to EC2 and see whether the machine status what's saying. So these are my two worker node where my data planes instances, and now check pass, both are good now. So what I'm going to do is, instead of now watch, and simply say get nodes. And if you see now, it created two machines, IP addresses 172.31.31.212 and 33.104. So if I go back to machines here, EC2, and click on these, you will see that IP addresses, or go back to here, scroll down on the right hand side to IP addresses. So scroll down, IP addresses here. So these are my public IPs, and there should be a private IPs as well for this. It's not showing here private IP. So let's click on one of these and show the private IPs. So private IP is 172.31.33.104, 33.104, and then second instance will have the second IP, which is under stresses, and I think we did. So 33.104 on DAA, and then on DE it's 31.212. So it's a 31.212. So these are the two nodes that's being created. So this completes your worker node. Now you deploy the applications on this. Now at this point, if you come so far, what you need to do is take the screenshot of this and post it in our community, whether Telegram, and post and say that you have done this lab so far. That way it will tell me that you're making progress, and it will inspire others as well in the group to perform this hands-on lab, because you learn by doing the task. Now, so in the next part, I'm going to delete and clean up this cluster from console. Now when I'm deleting, only delete the master and worker node and the associated roles, but we will not delete my client machine, because this client machine I'm going to use in my next part or next video, another lab, which is about installing this Kubernetes cluster using command line. So don't delete the EC2 machine, just delete the kubectl, just delete the master and worker nodes. That will cover, and then the related roles. But you can shut down your EC2 machine on which you have installed kubectl and EKSCTL. With that, this is Atul, and I'll see you in next part.